And we're live. Episode 16 of the Speaker
16?
Podcast.
Nice.
16.
Wow.
It's good. It's good. We're getting on up
It's
there.
been a minute. We were off last week because of light twab and we had some stuff going on, but hey, we're back.
Extra issues, yes, sir. And that being said, my issues should be good now. I have internet again. I have a tower around my house again. It's been great. I've grinded so much PvP this week. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he has, Bungie sent out a personal tower to him directly.
He said, "This is
podcast.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
No.
We need you
Honestly,
guys.
we need a helm."
Yes, and so it was great of them to finally get on board, but they did.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Great.
Yeah. It's a light twab this week.
Oh yeah.
So just not a whole lot going on. We're at that mid-season mark.
Yeah.
We don't have that much. I mean, we have Solstice coming up next month. Mind you, it is the end of June now. Today is the 25th.
Yep.
So we have Solstice.
So what? 2 weeks? 2 weeks till Solstice?
I believe 2 weeks. Not next.
Yeah.
Not
okay.
next reset, but
yeah, because it won't be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Which Solstice is always fun.
Solstice is
very
fun.
grindy.
Very, very grindy. And they've done a pretty good job of keeping the details to a minimum. We don't know a whole lot. I mean, I've seen the videos with like all of like the Bright Dust store and all that, Eververse store and all of that stuff.
And even they don't see it.
Even there's a couple of things in there, but so we have that. I know we know the EAZ is coming back, which take that as you will, whatever is blah, but
it is what it is.
Is what it is. It's cool. Just some cool added stuff, kind of like the Dawning, just to the stuff that you already do. So.
Yep.
That's exciting. We do have one more round of Iron Banner coming up at this point. This has been kind of weird, only getting it twice per season.
Yeah, but I feel like it definitely makes it more like, oh, you better jump on board if you want to get a part of it.
Yeah.
Which, until they rework Rift, I'm just not excited for it. But that's me. Hot take for me, so.
Long story short regarding like Rift was one thing, but the other thing was the map. I can't ever remember the name of that map.
The new one they just put in.
Yes, and I didn't like it for Rift, but I don't mind it just for like Control because it is such a big map. Man, I was on there earlier, dropped the easiest we ran I have ever gotten with just a scout rifle and Polaris lance and a sidearm,
scout rifle,
and just easiest we ran I think I've ever gotten.
Right.
We'll have that coming up soon. But yeah, like we said, light twab. So I do want to get into some other details regarding this season. And so we'll get into that. Like it, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, all the things, that'd be great. I just edited a video that I'm probably going to upload as soon as we get done here. Super stoked to get back on board with all that stuff. So, with all that being said, let's get into this.
Yeah, and Legend and I have started our own The Speaker Podcast clan. So if you're in need of a new home, we're here for you.
Yeah, I was gonna mention all that in a bit.
Okay. Well, I'll let you mention it in a bit then.
That's cool. No, we'll talk more in deep depth about that. Yeah. Let's get through the TWAB since it is so light. It'll take us 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get through. This week at Bungie, we're prepping for even more Trials of Osiris, this time with the return of Freelance so that solo players can get their pew-pew on. We've also got more patch notes to go over, as well as some mental health resources, because we know the Season of the Haunted storyline can get a wee bit hefty. We don't know about you all, but the Haunted storyline continues to hit us right in those feels. These are some heavy themes, and players from all over the world have been sharing how the ongoing narrative has connected with them in their own stories. Because of that, we just want to make sure that you are all okay. So if you would like any help with with parsing through those feelings, we've listed some helpful resources for you further down in the TWAB. Use them or don't, your choice, but the option is there. Eyes up, Guardian. Mental health is important. As we've mentioned, we've also got patch notes to go over, including which known issues are being tackled first, which need a little bit more time baking. For now, let's just dive right into another weekend of Trials of Osiris. So, get that bird seed ready. Trials of Osiris Freelance is back. The first freelance Trials of Osiris weekend for Season of the Haunted is on the way, which means more opportunities to check out the ultra-competitive PvP mode for any that are curious about what it has to offer. Whether you're playing for Ingrams or playing for the coveted Lighthouse spot, you'll have another shot at both later this week, and you'll notice my little chuckle right there. I was at work whenever the TWAB came out this week, and I knew that the TWAB had been out, not because of any notification that I might have gotten, but because I felt the collective sigh of the PvP community throughout the world.
Yeah.
As they said, ultra competitive PvP mode.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
We've gone over this several times, and you did a Twitter poll about this too.
I did. I'm waiting for some results. I did a 7-day poll, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out.
And we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll get through this, and then we'll come back to this, because I have notes, but I also want to hear from your perspective and my perspective on this, because PvP guy, PvE guy. So, there's some notes there between the both of us.
Right. We've taken in a lot of feedback about Trials experience, and because of that, we've learned some important lessons about the player base. Most involved with competitive experiences like this. We want you to enjoy your time in St. 14's arena of PvP goodness. We'll keep taking on the feedback, but for now, enjoy Freelance and go make Saint smile. He needs it. So, takedown update. In a previous TWAB, we let everyone know that a series of copyright takedown issues on YouTube have been identified as being fraudulent by someone impersonating our intellectual property protection service. We wanted to give a brief update and let everyone affected know that we have identified an individual responsible and we are taking legal action. We take these matters seriously and will invest time and resources required to protect our community from malicious actors. That said, do not attempt to harass, attack, or pile onto this individual. Any direct outreach not by Bungie's legal team could impair our ability to address the harm done to our community, which is our priority. We have your backs on this, and we will make sure this individual meets with the future they deserve. Much though we can appreciate the sentiment, we aren't asking for your help in making that happen. Now that this person has been identified, it has removed some challenges we faced in the reviewing license request for achieved music uploads. If you have been waiting for these, thank you for your patience, and we hope to get back to you in the next few weeks. So, that being said, you guys remember this, these takedowns that were going on. Most notably, I think for Sam and myself, was ASTRO. He got 2 strikes. And for those of you that don't know how YouTube works, 3 strikes and you're out. So he received 2 strikes that were fraudulent by what we were led to believe was a group of malicious actors, but no, it was just one person. And I'm not going to go into the details of who it is. If you would like to look into that yourself, you can look up Paul Tassie's videos on it. He's got a pretty in-depth look at what happened. But as they said up here, don't attempt to harass, attack, or pile onto this individual. And they tell you exactly why. If that individual gets attacked by the community, it could impair Bungie's ability to do anything about it.
They're going after him for $7 million. They kind of need everyone to kind of take their hands off.
Right.
Let the lawyers handle it. They're gonna get him. It's all good. Yeah,
for sure. So just back off. Let them do their thing. And again, if you want to look into it, you absolutely can. Just please, just
be polite.
Be polite. Do it the right way. So.
Yep.
Golly, what a season! Our phenomenal player support team is back in action, going over some of the known issues that Bungie is aware of, including the bug that flared up revolving around the seasonal challenges for Sever. For those curious about the inner workings of D2, check out what they had to say in their latest report below. And so we have another hotfix going live, normal time, Tuesday, just before reset. A bunch of crazy issues here.
A lot of hot fixes this season.
Yeah, a lot of hot fixes.
A lot of hot fixes.
If you're unaware right now, jump into PvP. If you see a bubble, fine, just slap on those armor-piercing rounds, those the weapon perk, and it'll shoot right through. So it's very cool. Very cool. Honestly, kind of makes me wonder if that shouldn't actually be a thing, but whatever.
It probably shouldn't, because you know what could just blast through a bubble shield? That fancy hand cannon. What am I thinking of? Ariana's Vow.
Oh no! This is
intrinsically
this is the weapon perk armor piercing rounds, not
just straight up armor.
Yeah, not barrier.
That's busted.
Not anti-barrier rounds.
Yeah, no. If it was anti-barrier, I could understand that, but just armor piercing, that's disgusting. That's not fair.
Totally ignores it, man. It's so funny.
That's gross.
That's well, to each their own. And right here another one. If you're a warlock using Wings of Sacred Dawn, the airborne effectiveness thing that is supposed to get the buff, not working right now. Same goes for Peregrine Greaves. Same goes for Peacekeepers. So just know several of our like class exotics for our specific classes like that are supposed to give you aerial effectiveness buffs are not right now. So I was playing with a fella the other day that mentioned that. He's like, I don't think Wings of Sacred Dawn does anything. It's supposed to do something. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything. And I was like, I don't know, man. The pattern for crafting Nezarex's Whisper cannot be untracked. Defeating targets while radiant with the knock 'em down is not refunding melee energy when used with Caliban's hand. The mini tool and the Drang Baroque don't get the gold masterworked border whenever it's upgraded. I'll mention that in a second.
It's weird.
Yeah. The Empty Grief seasonal challenge will not be completed if a player picks up the scythe that spawns in the final encounter. Fortunately, I saw someone talking about that on Twitter before I got on and did that this week, so I knew not to touch the scythe, which I usually don't anyways, but
yeah.
All right. If it's bad, then it's really good. I don't know how many of you are aware of the cosplayer known as Cheap Cosplayer Guy. That's a great name. But this out of the classic cosplayers never failed to bring a smile to our faces. Even better, it's having fun with cosplay in a way that doesn't break the bank and doesn't exclude anyone that feels their costuming skills aren't quite up to the professional levels. Because of that inspirational inclusion that makes the world a little brighter, we wanted to have a little fun with ourselves in the Destiny 2 community for Bungie Day coming up on July 7th. Got a fancy blue eyeshadow? Sounds like a great Zavala cosplay to me. Purple bathrobe. Hi, Cora. Is that you? The point of this is just to have fun, but we want you to be creative. You can all, as creative as you can all get with a new out-of-closet cosplay-friendly competition, so get your weird on because we're taking submissions now. Yeah, we got Bungie Day coming up. That's kind of funny, kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Movie of the week stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, have you ever seen those funny little memes of the guy doing weird cosplay from anime and different movies and TV shows?
I love that guy.
It's that guy.
I love
that guy. That's what they're talking about.
Is it
so
him?
They want you to. Yeah.
It is him? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what they're talking about. They want you to, do something similar to that. Honestly, it'd be really fun to see him have like a mirror on his front and back, and then just be like laying on the ground and be like Cade.
Oh my god.
Because that happened.
Oh my
to
god.
Your Vanguard.
Moving on.
Anyway,
Artist of the Week, which is I saw this on Twitter, very cool looking picture there with a Titan, Light, and Thunder.
Oh yeah, no, it was sweet.
Yeah, and yeah, so
that's literally all.
That's it. That's literally it, and that's a wrap on another installation.
Really short.
Installation of our favorite segment, Where TWAB, and just a reminder from the previous TWAB this month, make sure you're sharing those Pride Inspired Guardian looks with the Destiny tag, #Destiny tag. Yeah, so that's it. Last week's was even lighter than that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, now I want to talk about some other stuff since we're 15 minutes in and we're done with the TWAB. So,
yeah, and if we covered last week's, it would be 10 minutes. So.
Exactly. In with the juicy details now. I For a while now, I've been kind of clan hopping just personally because for a while I was kind of in between clans. We hadn't, you know, some issues with our old clan, nothing major or anything like that. But I specifically wanted to see if I could find like a more PvP centric clan, and I kind of did. But even then, it's like nobody really ever got on to play or anything like that. So, mm-hmm. And I was online playing with somebody that's usually in our chat, Sniper64, and I just thought about it at that point in time. I was like, you know what, I could do that. Just build a clan around the podcast. So that's what I did. As soon as I got my internet fixed up, hopped on my PC, set up a new clan, and we have that, and it is available for anybody that tunes into the podcast that would like to join. Now, yeah. I believe most clans are limited to 100 people, I believe. So, and look, right now we have like 5 or 6, people, but plenty of room to grow.
Oh, yeah.
We call it the Speaker Clan Cast. So that's what I called it. So yeah, the Speaker Clan Cast seems simple.
Honestly, yeah. If we get to the point where we're big enough that we require 2 clans, we could split off, and one side be the PvE side, and one side be the PvP.
Oh,
so spicy. That's something to look at in the future, because again, Legend and our play styles are very different. I very much enjoy the storylines. Not that Legend doesn't, but I'm not somebody who's going to be hopping into trials every weekend. I'll be planning a raid, as to where Legend will only come into those raids to make sure he has the best weapons.
Yeah, so I like to raid. Just man, we get some of our other people in there to do some raids here pretty quick. I would love to. I only need one red bordered Insidious pulse rifle.
Actually, I was being messaged by somebody who has someone who would like to get some raids done. It's 2 people, and then if we add, me and you, we need 2 more. So, some raids on the horizon for sure. I'm hoping potentially tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I'll be on all day tomorrow. Wife's going out of town.
I can hit them up and ask, but that's something we can potentially do. And then I would love to, have people in the Discord who are like, oh, I want to raid, I want to do a dungeon. Like, well, yeah, let's hop in, and then have that community there where it's like, oh, you may not always be on the console, but we're in the Discord. Like, hey, does anybody want to? It's way better than LFG.
Yeah,
because you never know what you're gonna get with LFG.
Yeah, and that's happened.
If you're listening to the, yeah, I mean, I've met lots of great people from LFG, but I've met just as terrible people. I joined a group to do a raid, and I'm like, oh, you guys need one more? He's like, yeah, not you. I'm like, okay. He's like, we looked you up on Raid Report. You haven't done this raid before. I'm like, yeah, because your thing says will teach. It's kind of misleading.
Yikes.
But whatever.
Man, there was a while there we were doing Vault of Glass every week. And I think all of us, we all did it on all 3 characters there pretty consistently for a while, because we wanted Vex. Of course, everybody wanted Vex, so that was the goal. And we grinded that a lot. And some of those people would just come in and get whatever checkpoint we were on and warp out and be done.
Yep.
It's so funny. But again, yes, the Speaker Clan Cast, you can look us up there. Get with me on Twitter or here on YouTube or something like that. Comment on a video and I'll try to get you a links into it or something. Yeah, but super exciting, super fun. Just a group of people. We all come from different, I think we're all pretty centralized to North America, but apart from that, like, everybody is very much welcome, and we're just a group of guys that like having a good time. We get together, we like to laugh and chat and have fun together. So if that's something
that's the biggest thing. It's not the biggest thing with different clans, and you find this out very quickly in LFG. It's not an ego check. It's very much like, you're coming to play content, come on, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna goof off. We do get serious when we need to get serious, but it's a game. A lot of us don't have a ton of time to play a lot of other games. So when we get on to playing, it's like, hey, we want to get some stuff done, but we're also on there to have a good time. And that's something huge for a lot of us, where it's like, I have a 7-month-old, I got 2 jobs, the wife works full time. Our schedule's busy. So when it's come time to sit down and I'm ready to do a raid, or, I want to get on and have a good time, I'm going to joke. I'm going to chat with our people. I'm going to chat with our friends. And we're not there to see, I did this week. I'm like, great, good job, good for you. This is what I had time for today.
And another thing is, and I mean this realistically in the realist sense of the term, we don't mind teaching people.
Oh, absolutely. I love teaching raids.
We've never had a hard time teaching people. Like, we genuinely enjoy it.
Deepstone was so much fun.
It was a ton of fun.
Carried so many people through Deepstone.
You did.
And then all the dungeons. Oh, yeah. No, I always down to teach. My biggest thing has always been, I'm willing to teach if you're willing to listen. And that's the best part of it. But yeah, no, I'm excited about the new clan, honestly, because it's going to be a lot of fun just having different people in, new people for sure. But so I want to bring it back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier. So Legend put out a poll on Twitter, and his exact wording was,
I can pull it up.
Should PvP be approachable to everybody, or should it stay its own thing? Because PvE should kind of cover the end of that. And I don't think that's word for word what you said, but that's kind of similar.
Yeah.
So if you're on Twitter, check that out. But I want to hear from you, Legend, your exact thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to look it up right now, because if I look it up right now, I don't want to give the results away just yet. So.
Oh, here, then I'll look it up.
You can look it up. That's fine.
Yeah, while you give us the explanation, I'll look it up.
No, basically, it was just asking people if they felt like the game being approachable from, like, whenever it comes to, like, PvP. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I'm just going to look it up on my phone. That'll be the easiest thing for me to do.
That's actually what I just did.
Instead of pulling it up there.
You've just got a lot of other stuff.
I do. I really do.
It's like scrolling down to that poll.
Okay, should Destiny's PvP endgame content be all-inclusive and accessible to everyone, or should PvE endgame content fill that gap? Then yes, I'd share the poll. Let's get some hard data. So, PvP, should it be inclusive, or should PvE fill the gap? And my big question being, for a long time, and I think a lot of, like, the more hardcore PvP people would agree with me whenever I say one of the best times we had in Destiny 2 PvP was, I think, right before, maybe right during whenever you guys all came back to play. And comp.
Dawning like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was, I think, Season of Opulence, I think. And just before Shadowkeep came out, and comp was in a pretty good spot. Now, we had a couple of things to grind in comp. This was just before sunsetting became a thing, and whenever sunsetting happened, they added all of these weapons that, not forgotten, Luna's Howl, Mountaintop, Recluse, Revoker, all of these weapons were added to the Monument to Lost Light at the tower, where now anyone can just go and get some materials and buy these things. And again, these weapons, all sunset, not a big deal at this point in time, but having to grind for those weapons, and whenever I say grind, I mean it was a significant grind.
Yeah.
Getting to Legend rank in comp, to this day, it's not easy by any means, right? It's not. But back then it was much harder. They've made doing it easier. They've added floors now, so that whenever you get to a certain point and you lose reputation, you can't go down beneath that floor.
Right.
That wasn't a thing before, back whenever I grinded out all those weapons. It was a good time. And whenever you got those weapons, was Recluse broken everywhere? Yes, it absolutely was. It was great. Honestly, it wasn't any better than Funnelweb was last season, or I should say, Might of Mini Tool with Enhanced Incandescent is this season. Okay, like, I put a video up on Twitter earlier. Maybe it was yesterday. Yesterday, I think, but I fully, like, built my Might of Mini Tool with Enhanced Threat Detector and Enhanced Incandescent. And I went into the Shirochi room, and you know the door's open, and she's there, and she spawns all the Shadow Thrall. I sprayed one magazine across, and it wiped everything out.
Yeah.
Recluse ain't doing that.
No.
Recluse ain't doing that. So,
yeah,
I feel like, you know, those weapons, the point behind the actual tweet and the poll, I think the community was okay back then, especially for people that really like to invest in PvP.
Right.
And I'll explain. I think they're doing some great things. I'll get into that in a second. But the idea is, if the PvP players are getting great stuff from PvP, such as Not Forgotten, such as Recluse, such as those, and the PvE players can do the same thing, and, you know, whether it's grinding out Master, Grandmaster, Nightfalls, doing you know, the high end raids that can grant, you know, the time lost in adept weapons. Do you feel like PvE should accommodate them, or should PvP be all inclusive? I'm pretty biased, so I'm not pretty biased. I'm very biased. That being said, I have no problem getting on and getting in. In fact, I love getting on and doing the Grandmasters, getting on and doing Masters, getting on and grinding Legend or Master Lost Sectors, or doing the hardest raids that we can possibly do. I don't mind doing any of it. I love all of that. I love this game, right? But as a hardcore PvP guy, I do kind of feel like, you know, maybe PvE should accommodate those people so that the PvP players can have their, honestly, have their cake and eat it too, kind of thing.
Yeah. I like that. I like what you said to say there. I definitely feel like, so, and I'm going to go on a little rabbit trail here, but I'm going to loop it back. So I really feel like, so we've talked about this many times, and I really hate the word accessibility to things, or all-inclusive, because, like, I love it all-inclusive when it's a bar or at a resort, or when you're at a resort for meals, but I really don't like when they do, oh, this isn't approachable. There it is. It's not approachable to be able to do this.
That's it.
And here's the thing. Really good example of this. Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. So when that game came out, it was a huge, huge game for the community that plays the Souls series. Big fan of them myself. Played all of them except for I'm playing through Demon Souls at the moment. So I played all of them. I haven't finished all of them. My goal is to finish all of them. But I've beaten Elden Ring twice over. I've beaten Dark Souls 3 an enormous number of times. But those games don't really have approachability to them in a way. Okay? It's a game designed to break you of how you've previously played a game, and it's supposed to show you, like, hey, this game is meant to be played differently. And it's, once you learn its system, you're good. Sekiro was the same way. And so it became, like, the biggest game of that summer. And tons of people were streaming it. A small majority of the people streaming it were successful and actually good at it. The other ones who were playing it complained because they couldn't do it. And it's not their fault because they're not good enough at a game. It's the game's fault because there's no easy mode. And people hate when you say easy mode or have difficulties. Like, there shouldn't be a difficulty. It should just all be approachable. Shut up. When a developer comes out and makes a game, they have an idea of what the game should be in their head. And they build that game around that. Mm-hmm. Dark Souls, Elden Ring, all of those things, there is no easy mode. There is no hard mode. It's just a steady progression. After you beat certain things, the game gets more difficult because you've moved on. That's, in my opinion, like the most perfect way a game can do stuff. Metal Gear Solid, The Phantom Pain, and by far was the best example of a game learning your playstyle. If you attack people at night, they start putting up floodlights. Get too many headshots, they start wearing helmets. rush at them with a shotgun, they start wearing body armor and carrying riot shields. The game adapted to you. It was great. Anyway, looping that back to Destiny. I really feel that the players that put in the time to play PvP should be rewarded for the time they put into it. And PvE players who also want to invest that time to go do stuff should also be rewarded. As much as I don't like the idea of turning off the flawless pool, because it makes it easier for me, someone who doesn't play PvP, to come and do that, I think turning it off will be healthier for the PvP community, because that's their playground. The PvP players that are going to go in there, try to get their rewards, that's almost exclusive to them, because they can pull that off. Carries become a problem, but we're talking straight up, if you're a player who plays PvP and you only really play the game for PvP, you should be rewarded with some sick armor that not a lot of people can get their hands on. Same as a raider who can get a team of 5 other people together to go do a raid. They should be rewarded with great looking gear and weapons that say, hey, I invested some time into this game. And that's cool. We shouldn't be dumbing down the content that we have in the game to make it accessible to everybody. No. We have guided games for raids.
Yeah. We
have the not master mode for raids. We have raids from previous seasons that kind of scale the light down. That would be my opinion, the idea of an accessible thing, because then you can use other weapons that you haven't upgraded or whatever. No. People who want to go in day one and not prepare, sit down. This isn't for you. People who think that I haven't played a PvP game ever and I want to go get all these trials rewards, no. That's not how games work. You got to put some work into it. So to answer the long wraparound back to that question, I feel like there should be some exclusivity to both things. Like, hey, put that time in, you're going to be rewarded with these great weapons on either side, PvE or PvP. I really would love to see in the future, if you would invest more time, kind of like how we have the reputation for stuff. What if there was reputation for raids? There was a raid board, and it was like, hey, you did this many raids over the course of the season or over the course of the year, and you get raid materials or raid banners, because maybe you can't run them every weekend, but over the course of time, you could. And maybe you get a weapon out of that. And same thing for trials. Run a bunch of trials, based on your wins, or just actually like play time. Maybe there's some rewards out of that. There's a lot they can do with that, and I would love to see, kind of like how we have Vanguard weapons, and there's weapons for like every category. What if they made specific weapons for it's like, hey, you did this many raids over the year. At the end of the year, Bungie's like, we're going to hand out this exotic. And the only way you could have obtained this exotic is if you put in this many raids or this many trials cards. Giving the people something of like, I wouldn't say exclusivity, but it's like, hey, I was here this year. I put in my time. I did this thing. Yeah, maybe I wasn't able to do that and I'm going to miss out, but it rewards the people that are still here.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of like all over the place, but that would be my answer to that question.
Right. And that's fair. Sniper joined in. He said better late than never.
I did see that.
What's up, man?
Yes.
How's it going? We just brought up the TWAB was light, so we brought up the clan and stuff like that. Sniper64 here being the first member behind me to join the clan, which was awesome. And we've played a couple of times now, and again, get some friends. You guys watch the podcast or don't watch the podcast, or whatever. Let's get some people in here. We want to make this again a place for everybody. But yeah, I can appreciate that that's your perspective on it. It's just, again, so many, like, it's like whenever you think of like Call of Duty, for example, right? People buy Call of Duty for the multiplayer experience, right?
Right.
They don't buy it for the campaign. In fact, there's been a couple of them now that have come out without campaigns. You don't, but you don't. In the end, that's like you play the campaign. I didn't buy it to
play the campaign.
Right. Yeah. You do it and it's over, and it's cool. Back in the day, yes, whenever I was playing on Xbox 360 and I had achievements for the game or whatever. I know we still have trophies on PlayStation and stuff, but yes, I would play it on the hardest difficulty and try to do it without dying or whatever. Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, it was about PvP, and
it's true. Yeah,
and that was mostly what it was about. And Destiny being more of a
hybrid,
more of a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it seems like they dunk so much. I say sometimes, more times than not. It is first and foremost, it is a PvE game. I don't have a problem admitting that. I would hope anybody can admit that. It's a PvE game first and foremost. And we know PvP has they've lacked on the PvP content for a while. So much so that and still kind of frustrates me because we've gone years now. We got one new map in PvP in 2 or 3 years. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. And I say new map. I'm not talking about they've brought maps back from Destiny 1.
Right.
But yeah, we've got one new map and it's okay. But there was a time, like I mentioned, when you could get into comp if you had, especially if you had a good fire team to do so, and play and be rewarded for it. And I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to get back to it now. I feel like they are definitely going in the right direction, and I'm going to tell you why. I've reset my Crucible rank 3 times this season. I've played a piss ton of Crucible, especially this week. And now it seems like every other weapon drop I get, which is not exactly few and far between, you get them pretty regularly, I get a Riptide with 2 perks in each column.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I've seen pictures online of people getting 3 perks in each column. That hasn't happened to me yet, but I've seen it. I'm assuming it's real. Yeah. But still, I'm getting this, you know, that is an example of a reward for somebody that does the activity.
Yeah.
The more you play, the more often you get these drops that have, you know, potentially 2 or 3 perks in the columns. That's great. And it's the same way for strikes, for Zavala. You reset your rank with him, and you have an opportunity of getting weapons from him that have more of those perks in each column, or higher stat rolled armor. Things like that. Those are examples of Bungie taking this in the right direction. That doesn't mean they don't still make some boneheaded decisions, or come up with some boneheaded, you know,
better accuracy. Airborne accuracy.
Rift.
Agreed.
They sometimes they come up. I think that they have good intentions. I don't think there's ever been anything that they've done with bad intentions. I'll even go so far as saying sunsetting. They had good intentions behind it. Whether or not you believe that.
Yeah.
Whether or not you believe that. You know.
Yeah. I could see that, and honestly, like with a lot of weapons, we were talking about that a minute ago, with like Recluse versus the new Kalos Mata mini tool with the Incendiary perk on it.
Mm-hmm.
Recluse would have gotten absolutely power crept by all of the new perks coming out right now.
Yeah.
I think giving weapons the ability to be crafted keeps them fresh, because they can then put in the new perks into those pools of those weapons. And yeah, I mean, sunsetting. I lost my beloved Black Armory in the process.
It's coming
I believe
back.
One day it will come back in a season of the Reforged.
Well, I say it's coming back.
But
I think the items are coming back for sure.
No, it's gonna come back. All of it. 100 times Black Armory. 100 times. 1,000 more episodes, Marty. 1,000 more. 9 seasons more. Give my Black Armory back.
We're 40 minutes in. We're done with the TWAB, done with the clan stuff.
Yeah.
I want to mention one more thing real quick before we wrap up. I have a video I'm going to pump out this evening. I got to get on here and make the thumbnail for it and all that, and then pretty much I'll just got to upload it, and it won't take long. Again, my internet's back.
Yay!
So I'm gonna give y'all a little splash of what I'm doing here. I asked another question on Twitter the other day, And just a general question. I didn't do a poll or anything like that. I just said, what with the advent of crafted weapons and enhanced traits. I'm going to ask you this first, Sam. Do you really feel the need to grind adept weapons?
My answer is twofold. Okay. All right. So, if I was to continue farming adapt weapons, one, it would have to be a gun that I really want. And two, it would have to have unique perks that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Okay.
That would be my reasoning for hunting an adapt weapon.
Okay.
If they come out with Scourge of the Past and put my beloved Black Armory weapons in that raid, adapt, and instead of time lost, they're called reforged, I would be all over it like there's no tomorrow. I'd be in that raid every single day, grinding out every single weapon.
I like that.
So I could have them, craftable or not.
Okay.
Now, that aside, right? I think what they've done with Val the Disciple ruined it. There is no reason to go after those weapons when you can craft them, because the enhanced perks are so much better than the adapt weapons. Yes, adapt weapons get an overall boost and get enhanced mods.
That's a great example, because that's the only set of weapons that are in the game that are available from a raid that you can craft, though not the adept versions. As it stands, anything adept in the game you can't craft.
I feel like if they came out with adapted crafting weapons, would destroy what they have built.
I'm gonna say no, and here's why. This was why. This is my video that's coming out. What if adept weapons came with enhanced perks
out of the box?
Yes. Totally randomized. You can't craft them. You can't build the one that you want. Totally random, though.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And honestly, what they could even go a step further and do is get a consumable where it's like kind of how the lantern hunts were for the lures, for like when you did the for the season of the hunted.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When you crafted those lures.
Yeah.
It's like this removes these two perks from the pool, and so you're more likely to get these perks in the pool. What if they gave us a raid thing like that?
You could do that. And you could do that simply by adjusting the perks on the ghost. Yeah.
But this would be like more towards the specific weapons for that raid.
Sure.
So like, feel me out. This would be a way of revamping master raids. Finish a master raid, and then you get the item that allows you to do that. And when you rerun it again on your other two characters, you can use it on those two characters. And you only get 2 charges per week. Or 3 charges based on how many characters you got. Yeah. So that way, because we can now farm those raids indefinitely to get those drops. But this one then helps you lock in the rolls you want to see on those weapons. So that could be something pretty cool. Sniper says we're all missing those black armor weapons, man. Yes. Ringing Nail, my No Feelings, my Threat Level, my Tempered Dynamo, my Sleep Slumbering Giant.
I just want my pulse rifle back, man.
Blast Furnace. I was using that Rift.
Oh my god, so good.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's my video that's coming out later. It's what it's about.
Yeah.
I feel like if you added the enhanced perks to those weapons, it would make them more viable. Because again,
to that end, yes.
Yeah.
Also, I would love to see enhanced, adapt weapons roll with 2 or 1 adapt mod, not adapt mod, but adapt perks. What do you think? Would both, so the adapt gun and when you got it, would both perks be enhanced? Okay.
I would think so, yeah.
What if we sweeten the pot and add we take out one of the weaker perks and throw in a better perk, one that you couldn't get on the normal version, to incentivize another reasoning?
So if you did something like that, I think that should be more locked behind more higher end content potentially.
Yeah.
potentially. Like let's say, I mean, we have the master raids or whatever. Say potentially if they ever, because master raids are hard. Yes, master raids are not as hard as contest mode.
No, absolutely not.
So give us
contest mode sucks.
Give us contest mode. You grind contest mode. You have the potential to get these. I
don't want to do that.
I
don't want to do that.
That's too much, man. It's too much.
I'm just remembering the contest modes I've done. I'm just like, I don't want to do that.
It's just I know right now, like, and I mentioned in the video specifically, it's like I grinded hard to get my Adept Palindrome, and I do love it. I think Palindrome is still maybe my favorite hand cannon. I don't know if it compares to this fully crafted Austringer. I don't know that it does.
Doesn't.
I don't think it does. It's just such a good weapon. I'll read your comment here in a second, Snipe, but I feel like if I was able to get that Palindrome, because granted now it comes with, I mean, not now, I guess, because they took it out of the loot pool this season, so but I never got a better Palindrome that had the new Vanguard perk on it or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I never got one of those, and officially that would be better than the one that I have now officially. But
objectively,
but the Austringer I have now, it's great. Not adept. I can't remember what it is. Once you get it past level 20 or whatever, eventually it gets, just like adept weapons, it gets some better stats.
And I think it's level 10.
Maybe it's level 10. I can't remember. But yeah, and then of course you can pick the perks on it.
Exactly.
And so, and again, I'm going to go back to that enhanced incandescent was just magnificent. It's great. An ad clearing machine. So take that as you will. I think that would make it. Sniper says, I'll give you my answer. I've never been interested in adept weapons. They are not that much stronger than the regular versions to give me a reason to do GMs or the flawless trials. And that's very true. That is very true. And I mentioned that in the video. I say specifically.
I do think.
Go ahead. I was going to say, compared to my favorite, probably the adept weapon that I'm known most for is my messenger. Very early on, whenever messenger came out, I got my adept, high cal rounds, rapid hit, and desperado. I've got over 5,000 kills on that thing in PvP. It's amazing. I love it. In the hands of a good player, a regular messenger with high cal rounds and rapid hit and desperado is just as good. And maybe one thing that they could do is take the adept mods that have the negative modifiers on them, and take away the negative modifiers. Just take them away. Whatever. Maybe that's what makes adept weapons better. But no, you slap some of these on, like adept counterbalance. Yes, that enhances your. You don't need arrowhead break, and a counterbalance. Whenever you can just put adept counterbalance on it, it shoots your recoil direction way up. But it kills your range. It's like minus 10 or 15 to your range, whatever it is. So,
I was gonna say, I feel like the adapt perks not adapt perks. The adapt mods can cover that, I guess. Because I mean, when we started going for adapt weapons and grandmasters, they had just announced adapt big ones, which is major and boss spec together. And on a heavy weapon, you can't beat that.
No.
Slap that bad boy on a rocket launcher or an LMG, and you're sailing because you can just crush everything in your way. Fusion rifles at the time, when that whole meta was a thing, oh my gosh. Freaking, what was it? The Vanguard one. It's plugged something. Unplugged? Plug one. Yeah, thank you. Plugged one was a disgusting
reservoir burst.
Pulse rifle.
Plug one. Oh, you're talking about fusion rifle.
Fusion rifle. Yeah, plugged one. I'm sorry. Well, it was a disgusting fusion rifle, and so was what's it called? The one that gave out the ritual weapon, because it had reservoir burst as well. Both of the ones that I was using had reservoir burst, and I had one for arc, one for void. And with the adapt big ones, you were just cruising through and just blowing apart majors and bosses. It did massive damage.
Yeah.
And I think that is the big one. That's the real reason why a lot of people hunt for those adapt weapons. Also, bragging rights.
Yeah.
If you roll up on the tower and you see somebody with 3 weapons that are all adapt, you know they put some time into the game, or got super lucky and got carried. Either way, it's all about the end game. Look at what I've done. I mean, that's why we have transmogrification. It's say, hey, look at this cool armor that I'm wearing from a raid that's no longer in the game, Black Armory, and it's it's there. People want to flex on the stuff that they have, and other people don't have. No, but to Legend's point, yeah, no, a Desperado roll in the right hands with the right, it can almost do the same exact thing. There are very subtle differences, and honestly, allows you to be a little bit lazier with the weapon, just because you can get away with a few more things that wouldn't be possible with the original. So, and then a palette swap too.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of what it all is.
Yeah.
I know the big reason for what's up, Blood? He said I am here. I know the big reason for doing master mode for Vault